What's up, people? This is the People's Podcast presented by the Wrestling Republic. It's your boy, Young Meech, a.k.a. Sconey Mac, a.k.a. Young Twiggy. And my co-host is...
Shoot. It's the beast sleeping in the east, the one, the only John Wiley. What's cracking?
Yes, sir. And this is episode 16, On the Road to the Royal Rumble. On the road to
Yes,
next week,
sir.
Monday Night Raw, the 30th anniversary. And then ultimately on the road to WrestleMania. So let us start off with the first topic being, since next week, Monday Night Raw is the Raw's 30th anniversary. And they're already talking about the acknowledgement ceremony. What is the acknowledgement ceremony? We're talking about Roman Reigns, all the people of the bloodline, possibly all the people of the bloodline. So what is your expectations of the acknowledgement ceremony next week?
There are three scenarios that are playing out in my mind. It's gonna be a wild run out from between a wild Cody Rhodes appearance, a wild Seth Rollins appearance, or The Rock is gonna make his return and be like, nah, I do not acknowledge this.
Man,
He's gonna be like, man, who made you the tribal chief? Last time I checked, I was in charge. That's how it's going down.
it's crazy because we literally have no idea. They already been hyping up Cody Rhodes. We know Cody Rhodes is going to be in the Royal Rumble. We know the potential that he has of winning the Royal Rumble. And then, like you said, he could possibly come out for the 30th anniversary, crash the acknowledgement ceremony. But the biggest thing, since you already got legends going to be there, they already advertising for The Rock. I mean, they already advertising for The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, these type of legends. Is only right. It'll only be right if The Rock showed up. But all I gotta say is before The Rock does show up, we need to get those WrestleMania tickets because you know them tickets gonna go sky high as soon as The Rock appears at Monday Night Raw, and then it starts lining up that he's gonna be wrestling at WrestleMania. That's all I'm thinking about.
They got to charge $500 for the nosebleeds, man. It's gonna be rough.
They
I don't
gonna
know what to do about it.
they gonna amp up them prices quick, but
Yeah,
I mean, it only makes sense though. If The Rock does show up, it's perfect. You have the entire bloodline, generations of the bloodline that's gonna be there. They're gonna be trying to acknowledge Roman Reigns. It'll be perfect timing for The Rock to show up and start building toward the Royal to WrestleMania. And then, because then since you're already setting up that with The Rock and Roman Reigns, then Cody Rhodes just comes out of nowhere and be like, boom, he wins the Royal Rumble. Now you're like, uh-oh, what's about to happen? Triple
you know
threat
what's
match?
crazy about it is, I was I always kept bringing up on the podcast. The Rock had at least about 3 months of his schedule being open, and then since he's not working with DC anymore, this is a very good time for him to join back with wrestling. And the only thing that's going to be up on his schedule is the XFL. And obviously, he's just going to be there doing business stuff on the side. So I really think this might be the time we see The Rock reappear.
It's perfect timing. Perfect timing. Roman Reigns is freaking the undisputed champion. WrestleMania is in Hollywood. It's the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. It's like, come on now. It's setting up perfectly for The Rock to make a comeback. But would you want to see a possible triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and The Rock?
The only thing about triple threat matches is this: you're always going to have one guy looking dumb outside the ring. It's always going to happen. It's going to be one guy who gets hit, well, I don't know, 2 super kicks, I guess, or a stunner or something. All of a sudden, he's gone from the match entirely for like a good 10 minutes. Just like, oh, I'm on the ground. What's happening? Oh, we all seen it happen. We've seen it happen with John Cena sitting outside the ring for like, what, 2-3 minutes? Last back on Christmas week. Like, come on, man. It's always gonna happen, man. I say if they are gonna do it, they're gonna talk about it extensively, man. They're gonna have to.
I go back to what I said a few weeks ago. The perfect way I will book this: Roman Reigns is the undisputed champion. Roman Reigns is in his prime. Have Roman Reigns defend the Raw WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes. at WrestleMania on Saturday night. Then Sunday night have The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship. The only thing that makes that a little tough though, because a funny thing when I brought that up a few weeks ago, a few people commented and they were like, the thing that makes that tough, it kind of spoils the Rock and Roman Reigns match if that takes place on Sunday because we haven't seen Roman Reigns lose the belts at all. Then the night before he loses to Cody Rhodes, it would kind of like spoil him facing The Rock in a sense because it's like Roman hasn't lost in a while. Basically, like where he actually gets pinned for the titles, he hasn't lost in like 2 years. So
and remember, Sami Zayn lost that tag team match. Roman
exactly,
didn't get pinned.
Sammy lost that match, just Sammy. So that's what makes it interesting. It's like that's the only thing that makes it tough about the booking choice that I would do. It's like maybe you do The Rock versus Roman Reigns Saturday night, and then you have Roman beat The Rock, and then Sunday night have Roman versus Cody Rhodes, and then have him lose to Cody, probably.
It's a little disrespectful towards The Rock if you have him on first instead of last.
Exactly. So that's the tough part. That's the only way it makes sense. Or unless you just throw them into a triple threat match, and it's like, I don't know if I want to see a triple threat match. I think I kind of want to see a singles match.
You know, it look bad is like say for instance they book it to where Roman didn't even get pinned in the match. If they book it that way, like The Rock pins, or the Rock or Cody Rhodes pins each other in Roman's like I didn't even get pinned. Like, come on, guys.
Oh.
I still say they should let Roman do these matches win and hit that 1,000-day mark and eclipse Bruno Sammartino. Do it.
Yeah.
And then have him lose at SummerSlam or or even Money in the Bank even. Shoot.
If Roman Reigns messed around and beat The Rock and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania and doesn't lose the championship, it's like, dang, that's just gonna cement him as like he's unbeatable. He's unbeatable at that point because who else would you throw him against?
Book Wittables, they could say. Shoot. You know, all we gotta do is clone the Undertaker, you know what I'm saying? Bring back the American Badass one good time, you know what I'm saying? Or because remember when the Undertaker fought Brock Lesnar with a cast on in the Hell in a Cell match?
I remember.
Yeah. That Undertaker was different, dog. I'll say we gotta bring that back. Hey man, we gotta get on that, clone that man. On a real note though, like a wrestler who I do think could beat Roman, or if not, it could be make some good money, would probably be Seth Rollins. I still like the idea of like an AEW crossover where they have a triple threat match between Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. In a very protective way, you could protect Dean Ambrose, so you could say like, "Oh man, he lost to Roman." You could like have either Seth get pinned or have like a situation where Dean couldn't stop a submission or he gets jumped by the Usos or something. So that's like an easy way to protect him while also keeping that triple threat match alive.
Got you. Yeah, it's just rough. It's a good thing to have. If you're the WWE, this is actually a good problem to have. Trying to figure out how to book Roman to lose the Undisputed Championships. It's a good problem to have. But you brought up Seth Rollins, which lead me to what should the WWE do with Seth freaking Rollins at WrestleMania? The man took another L at Monday Night Raw. And next week, because next week I believe Bobby Lashley is going to face Theory for the United States Championship. So Bobby Lashley won that match. Seth Rollins took another L. What do you do with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania? This is actually a real question. I have no idea.
The way I see they should do it, right? They should either let Seth Rollins win the Royal Rumble, or you know how they have Fastlane. You could technically punch your ticket into that Fastlane to get into a match.
Mm-hmm.
They should have him do like a gauntlet match and either get into the main event or go beat the brakes off of Theory, or have another triple threat match with him, Bobby Lashley, or Theory, or I'm just saying, man, maybe, just maybe, he has to beat The Rock to get in that match. Cody. Or to make it even worse, he has to be Cody Rhodes to get in that match.
Dang. That's a but see, what would you I mean, what would you do with Seth Rollins like so let's say guaranteed is Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes versus The Rock for the undisputed
Yeah,
championship. What do you
yeah.
do with Seth Rollins now at WrestleMania? There's no way unless you I mean, are you putting him in that match or
I personally like to put him in that match because personally, if you look at how it's kind of set up, Seth Rollins is the only guy that Roman didn't technically beat. Roman got disqualified because he kept going off on him. And if you really want to get even more technical about it, Seth is the only guy that kind of has Roman's number. Out of everybody he's put hands on. So I would much rather see that match happen before I want to see Cody Rhodes versus Seth. I mean versus him. So if there was a triple threat match, say for instance we couldn't get The Rock, I would slot in Seth Rollins because at least I know we will get a guaranteed 4-star match if we have Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns.
hmm, here's what I would do. The more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, so all of this obviously it depends on what The Rock is going to do. If The Rock chooses not to come back, then easily to me, I'm rocking with the Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes undisputed championship. Have Cody win the Royal Rumble easy. That makes it easy for us. But the only other problem that has though is that WrestleMania is 2 nights. So then what do you do for one of the nights? What is the main event for one of the nights?
Exactly. Which is why I'm saying, man, you gotta let Seth Rollins be in one of those nights. Let Seth Rollins be in either night one or night two, or put him in a triple threat match. What if it's 2 triple threat matches back to back?
Mm, dang, it
Nah,
is.
that's crazy. Why would I put 2 triple threat matches back to back?
That's what makes it tough. It to me, it seems like it's a line in that Roman Reigns, no matter what, he's gonna have to put. He's gonna have to wrestle both nights. To me, either way it goes, he has to wrestle both nights. Whether that's Roman versus The Rock one night and Roman versus Cody the other night, either way it go, he has to wrestle both nights. Whether The Rock doesn't even come back to me and he faces Seth Rollins one night and faces Cody Rhodes another night. Because there's 2 nights, you got to have 2 great main events. Maybe I mean, I guess the men don't have to main event one of the nights. You could have another women's main event or something like that, or you could do another legend main event like they did last year when they brought Stone Cold back and he faced Kevin Owens. You could do something like that.
Hold on. I don't ever want to see Austin wrestle again, man. That was an all-time carry job from Kevin Owens. If anything, that stamped his way into the Hall of Fame. He carried that match like nobody else. God dang, I was like, that was like LeBron James on the what was it, the '08 Cavs? Kobe Bryant to the playoffs back in the late 2000s. Like, bro, that was the all-time carry job, dog. No, I don't ever want to see that. I'd rather that slot be saved for Edge's last match in the WWE.
Austin is training right now, though. He said in the interview that he'd have enough time to train for that match against Kevin Owens, but he's been training for some months now. So if he was to wrestle at WrestleMania, I think he's gonna look way better. Even though that match was good, though, that still was a good match.
Who would you even have him wrestle though? Who?
And that's where this all comes full circle.
Don't have him wrestle Seth Rollins.
Seth
That's a waste of
freaking
time.
Rollins.
Then Seth got to go over, dog. Seth got to go over.
Seth Rollins
Oh,
been taking losses all this time, man. If you're gonna take a loss, you might as well take it to one of the greatest of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, you know what else you could do? Bring back Legend Killer Randy Orton,
We already
or
seen
better,
him.
bring back John Cena versus Stone Cold Steve Austin night one.
Oh, what if they set that up at the Raw 30th anniversary? Since you got legends already there, Stone Cold pops off, John Cena comes back, and like, how you gonna face Kevin Owens but not face one of the faces of the WWE that the match that people wanted to see, John Cena and Stone Cold? That would be crazy. I wouldn't even know what to do with that match, honestly.
I would be feeling a certain way though, because imagine Because like I would want that match in the mid card versus the main event because I feel like that's a little disrespectful to the women though. You know what I'm saying?
Mm, that's true. That's true. Honestly,
Because I felt yeah.
oh, I was going.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Honestly, I felt like last year that was a little bit disrespectful to the women's because I was like, bro, they should have went on last instead of this vanity project, aka Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens. That match, I understand, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin and he's in Texas. He gotta go on last, but I felt like, hey man, the women should have got a little bit more respect. They should have went on last.
I ain't gonna lie. I love women. I love the women empowerment movement and all that type of stuff. Ain't no way I'm putting them over Stone Cold in the main event. I'm gonna have to put an end to all that women empowerment right there, right there.
It was a cold deal.
Man, forget all that. I'd rather see Stone Cold stun one of them. Matter of fact, at Raw 30th anniversary. Can I put a request in? Have the Judgment Day come out and let Stone Cold stunner freaking Rhea Ripley one time. The world needs to see it. I'm tired of seeing her just, beat down men and they just kind of like, or they just stepping down and she just, yeah, forget all that. We need that Stone Cold stunner, pop a couple beers and all that. We need Stone Cold to do it for the team for the one time.
I do not condone this violence, but I do approve of this message. Yes.
In 2023, I put a request in Raw 30th anniversary. Please let Stone Cold stunner Rhea Ripley one time for the one time. I just got to see it. And I love Rhea Ripley, but I just got to see it.
She does a very good job of making me hate her because last time when I saw her stand up against Solo Siaka, I was like, yo, Solo, do me a favor, Samoan drop right now. What are they going to do? The Usos are right there. Just do it.
She stepped up to Solo Sikoa and then freaking, yeah. And I love Rhea Ripley. I love what she's doing. If anything, Judgment Day has really put her over being a part of that group. To me, she's the standout, her and Finn Balor. Dominic Mysterio's cool too, but I don't know. Like, he's cool.
He's grown into his own slightly. It's like, how much time do we need to give you, dog? How much time? Because right now, he instead of looking like Eddie Guerrero or Rey Mysterio Jr., this boy's looking like, what was his name? Conan? He's looking like Conan 2.0, bro.
I wonder when they going to start setting up for the Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio match that's, I'm assuming, supposed to take place at WrestleMania. But,
You think that's going to be his retirement match?
Rey's? I mean, I think but I don't think Rey Mysterio is going to retire, not this year. So maybe they're going to postpone it and give it to us next year. Give Dominic Mysterio more time to like build himself up. Homie got to get to the gym. I need him to put up some weights. He got to look more intimidating to me. I think that's one of the biggest problems.
That sounds very Vince McMahon of you.
I'm sorry.
That sounded very Vince.
I'm sorry,
He's
Dominic.
too small.
I need to feel like it needs to be a little bit more believable. I need Dominic to just look more apart. Like, I think he's a good wrestler. Even though he's, on the come up, but yeah, you just got to put on some more weight, dog. I'm sorry. He's got get in the gym, hit up some weights, protein shakes.
He's too small.
He
ain't ready yet.
He's just a little too small right now. But I like Dominic Mysterio. I'm not like a lot of other fans that be hating on him. I like Dominic Mysterio. I just, if I'm assuming if he's gonna beat Rey Mysterio at a WrestleMania, it got to be a little bit more believable for me at this point. Right now, Rey should definitely win easily. So, but we're gonna circle this back around. I do want to say this. For me, what I would do with Seth Rollins, he has to face a legend at WrestleMania to give him the proper respect that he deserves, because I don't want to see him going after the U.S. title. He's already been U.S. champion. He was U.S. champion very short. And to me, he's bigger than the U.S. title. Theory is cool as U.S. champion, maybe Bobby Lashley, something like that. But Seth Rollins, he needs to face a legend to get his proper dues. So if they want to bring back the freaking Seth Rollins and Edge rivalry, I wouldn't mind seeing it because I know I'm gonna get a 5-star match. Um, but he has to face some type of legend to me to give him his just dues. Maybe, nah, I wouldn't put him against Brock. He got to face somebody though, somebody like that
Well,
legend.
I'm not against the Brock because I don't know if you remember, but Brock Edge almost beat Brock for the World Heavyweight Championship back in the day, dog. Edge almost did it.
Mm-hmm.
That was back in, I want to say, way back yonder in 2003 or 2002, I want to say. But then again, that was Edge before he had a broken neck.
Yeah.
That's a much different Edge, a lot more athletic. But shit, I wouldn't be against it, dog. I would not be against it. But I feel like that Brock Lesnar match should be reserved for somebody who deserves a whooping, like Brock, like Goldberg. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, wait, Goldberg is at this point. I don't know. I don't. If you bring him back to wrestle at WrestleMania, I don't know what you do with Goldberg at this point.
Hey man, I know exactly what you do. You know what I'm saying? You know, have him enter the women's Royal Rumble and then get eliminated first.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
Hey man,
Disrespect.
I'm just saying we can get rid of him now. Buy out that contract, even. Don't even let him show up.
What I would
Have him
do.
buy a ticket to WrestleMania. Don't even let him show up.
The only person that makes sense for Goldberg to face to me is probably what is homie name NXT champion right now?
Oh, Braun Breaker.
Yeah, that would be the only one that makes the most sense to me. To have Goldberg face, but it would just be to put Braun Breaker over Goldberg pretty much, and I'm tired of saying Goldberg lose. So I don't know. I think Goldberg just needs to sit it out at this point. Just sit it out, unless they said Goldberg versus Seth freaking Rollins, and I'm like, okay.
I feel like that's a waste of a title card match. I think Goldberg versus excuse me, Goldberg versus what's it called? Braun Breaker at Worlds. Probably like a pay per view like Worlds Collide or another NXT takeover in your house. That would be a great idea, man. Actually, I got to write that down somewhere. That is actually a fire idea, dog. That's
that
a good idea.
that is definitely a good idea. But what if they said mess around and was like Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley? Just throw all three of them in there.
Oh man, that's a lot of big meaty men like me, dog. I don't know if I.
and
God
throw
dang.
and throw
Let me
Big
throw a
E
pause on that real quick.
and throw Big E in there. Big E comes back and just like, know what? Just throw all four of them in a match. Have everybody spear each other. All that type of stuff.
Hey man, wild surprise appearance. Rhino and Ryback coming in to throw a spear too. Why not?
And then Edge throws a spear in there. He just hops in the match for no reason, and he throws a spear.
Batista takes off the glasses. He hops the gate, does the spear too. Why not?
Batista comes back and do the spear. Oh my gosh, that would be just the battle of the spears. That would just be too much.
True chaos.
That
And just for good measure, here have Roman throw his spear out too against Brock. Brock thought he won spear.
Roman comes in and do the spear. Who has had the best spear so far? That is the most random topic, but forget it.
In my opinion, recently my favorite spear has been Bobby Lashley because his looks like the I forgot what the brother's name when he was in TNA, but his spear is like when he hits you, he like flies with you. You know what I'm saying? And Bobby's been doing that to people lately. And that's so far Bobby Lashley has my favorite spear. And second would probably be still Goldberg. Because when Goldberg hits you, it still looks like a goddamn truck.
And I think it's not even a question. Back in the day, Goldberg, those spears was devastating to me. I was like, he was freaking killing people out there. I knew they used to be mad when they got booked against Goldberg because they knew for sure that match was about to last about 3 seconds, and they was just gonna take a spear and a jackhammer, and that spear was gonna be devastating. To me, Goldberg easily still has the greatest spear. Um, you know, if we're talking about history. Lately,
Yeah.
I don't maybe not lately. Probably Bobby Lashley lately.
It's Bobby Lashley by a country mile. Ain't nobody messing with his spear, dog. Because the last time I seen him spear somebody, like dude did like a whole entire flip. Like, god dang. I was like, damn. Is he okay? It's a lot of power he put into that.
Yeah, that's wild. That is
Imagine they gave
wild.
the spear to Brock Lesnar though. Imagine that. It wouldn't look right, but it'd be dope.
Brock Lesnar doing the spear, I would have to see how that would even turn out.
Nah, because I think he just do it into a spine buster or something. That's probably what ended up happening.
You know what I always wondered? Remember back
Mhm.
in the day, I can't remember what WrestleMania this was. It probably was WrestleMania 21 when Brock Lesnar faced Kurt Angle and then Brock Lesnar
Mhm.
did the little moonsault off the top rope and almost
Yeah.
like killed himself.
Yeah.
Um I wonder if Brock Lesnar still can do that to this day.
Oh
Like
yeah, he can do it. He
i-
can still do it.
if he could hit a backflip still off the top rope, he's way bigger now.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? The biggest thing about that was even I think Jim Cornette said it. He could do it. He just slipped.
Hmm.
That's just the coldest thing about it. Because we seen him do it before. That's just one of those things. And I think Shelton Benjamin even leaned in and was like, yeah, Brock was doing it in Ohio Valley Wrestling all the time. It wasn't that big. It's just that it was just a really like terrible time it happened.
And I think Kurt was just a little too far. Or I don't know. I think he just kind of he just Kurt was maybe a
If
little too
I'm not
far. I don't know. It was a little
if I'm
weird.
not mistaken, Brock was already concussed when that match happened. Like halfway through, he got concussed.
I think so. I think so. Yeah. I always
Yeah,
wondered though. I was like, what if Brock Lesnar pulled off a freaking moonsault again in one of his matches of recent? I'll be like, this guy Brock is crazy. Is crazy.
oh yeah, that's when we got to see Brock Lesnar bust out them knee pads. Man, he ain't doing that without no knee pads.
I don't think they could pay Brock enough to do that anymore. Brock then learned his lesson. He like,
Hey, you
forget all
know who would
that.
have done it for free and to hit nothing back in the day? Perk Angle. Yeah, yeah,
Kurt Angle,
yeah.
you know he gonna be at the Raw anniversary.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Yeah, I hope Perks. I heard Kurt's needs are good enough for one good Olympic slam, dog. Just one more for me, man.
Just one. I need one more match from Kurt. I'm sorry. I can't let him and Baron Corbin. I can't let that be the end. I don't know if you've been seeing this too. Baron Corbin has been managed by freaking JBL now. Um,
Yeah, that's all. That's all.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know about that. I'm like, I just don't know. I guess you got to do something to really showcase Baron Corbin, but I'm like, I don't know. I,
Baron Corbin's that guy I've always said maybe we should send down to NXT because we don't quite know what to do with him every time he shows up because it's like, bro, you kind of to me he's like a failed heel experiment. We keep him around because we need somebody to beat on. Because whenever he had a rivalry with Drew McIntyre and everybody forgot,
mm, yep, I
and
do.
I remember the end of the days was like, oh man, no one's ever kicked at him. I'm like, here's the issue with the end of days. Nobody really cares about Baron Corbin like that for us to care about no one kicking out of it. No one really does. It would be different. It's like, what if Shawn, nobody's ever kicked out the super kick for Shawn Michaels? It'd be a big issue because, Shawn is that guy. What if it was like, oh man, no one's ever broken Roman Reigns' submission for when he puts on the clutch on you? It'd have been really big news because it's Baron Corbin. He ain't got that clout about him. So it's like this. Nobody cared, dog. Nobody cared, and
And
especially it happened with Drew McIntyre. Nobody really cared, dog. Nobody really cared.
the thing that's unfortunate too, I think Baron Corbin's actually a good wrestler. He can talk on the
Oh yeah.
mic. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
it's the same thing about Drew McIntyre. Is Drew McIntyre, he can wrestle, he can talk on the mic. Just right now they just do not have the right characters and the right hype around them. And WWE is trying to do something about putting JBL with Baron Corbin, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's I guess, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna count it out so far.
Yeah, yeah, man. They need some help, dog. They need some help. I
Yep.
think, like you said earlier, man, I think last podcast, turn him heel again. And with Baron Corbin, it's time to come up with a new character. It's time.
Okay.
Happy.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead. I'm done.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, to finish off what you said, Happy Corbin. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, Happy Corbin. The man was broke and then he hit the lotto. Just like the storylines, like I don't know, I don't know.
You know what's crazy? A year back before Aleister Black left, I was really gonna make like a thing called the House of Black stable using Baron Corbin, and it was gonna be guys suited up and uncuffing the uncuffing their shirts and stuff like that, and getting in the ring and start doing business on people because they to me they were gonna be like a dark authority. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And I wish he was around for that because that would have been a cool idea to run. But it is what it is, man.
it is
Because
what
hey,
it
man, I
is.
think Baron Corbin at his best is when he was suited up all the time.
Probably, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so. I mean, you never know what they gonna do. Hopefully, they can do something. Um, yeah. I'm not gonna hate on what they doing so far. I'm gonna give them some time, a little bit more time, and just see what they can come up and do with the whole JBL managing Baron Corbin and see where that goes. Another thing, the Hurt Business seems to be returning, and not only do they seem like they are returning, but they're adding another member to the group with Almost. What do you think of that possibly happening?
Very good because almost in his last match with Braun Strowman really didn't impress me because we actually had another good wrestling match. I know guys like Jim Cornette and I'm like to be like, oh, he's terrible. The internet doesn't like him that much. Personally, I do like almost, and I feel like he does have a career in wrestling. And I also think that he is improving. I understand it's not at the rate people like, or it's not what people want. But hey, man, not everybody can, be doing 5-star frog splashes off the top of himself. Not everybody can be doing some Will Ospreay nonsense or some popping a V trigger just out of a super kick or something like that, like Kenny Omega. It's just not going to happen. Everybody got some role to play, and I think he does his role pretty well. So I can't wait to see him join the Hurt Business if that is what's going to happen. I just feel like they're not going to use Cedric Alexander, even though I think he's still really good at wrestling.
This past Monday Night Raw was the first time I seen Shelton Benjamin wrestle a match in so long. And it was
Oh
him and
yeah,
Cedric Alexander. MVP came out, kind of like helped them out, managed even though they still lost. Then MVP and them came, MVP and Almost came out, helped Bobby Lashley win his match to be able to face Theory for the United States title next week on the 30th anniversary. You know what I would do? Not only would I put that whole group together, bring back Shelton, Cedric Alexander, MVP, the manager, Bobby Lashley as the face, Almost as the bodyguard, but I'll add one more person in that group. You know who I'll add into that group to be
who would you got?
the young star that's going to ascend and probably become the next star out of that group?
Who?
Montez Ford. Put Montez Ford in that group. Break up the Street Profits. Put an end to the Street Profits. And put Montez
I
Ford in
hear
that
you.
group.
The idea sounds good, but book it. Sell it to me. Sell it to me. How
To
would you make that happen?
to me, Montez Ford is easy. Oh, how would I make? Well, first thing, let me say this: Montez Ford is just easily one of the most athletic superstars on the Raw roster right now. He already proven that he has charisma, being a part of the Street Profits. What I would do, I mean, it sells itself. So recently, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, they lost to the Street Profits. What I would do is I'll run that back. Run it back. Do like at Raw 30th anniversary while everybody's, legends is appearing. Have them all meet up. MVP, maybe you're still waiting to see if Bobby wants to come back to the group, but you at least have a meeting with MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and you'd be like, you know what? Now that we're bringing this faction together, bringing back the Hurt Business, we got to have that match again. We got to do it again. We can't lose these matches. Let's face the Street Profits in a rematch. And in that match, have Montez Ford turn on, what's his name? Dawkins, last name Dawkins. Have him turn on him. And then, and the Hurt Business wins. And Montez Ford is now a part of the Hurt Business.
Okay, okay, I hear you, but what is the why?
The why? Montez
Yeah.
Ford, I mean, they barely went. They not make. They no factor. They not a factor. I'm sorry, Street Profits. I love you. They just not a factor right now. I don't think they're gonna be. I don't necessarily know if they're gonna even have a match at WrestleMania this year on either night, Saturday or Sunday. I don't know if they're gonna have a match. Where do you go? I feel like they peaked out, and they peaked out a little too soon. The reason why, because to me, they could have had easily a solid tag team run, championship run, but you made the Usos the undisputed champs, and I love the Usos, and I think it's well deserved. But when you do that, the other tag teams don't really have nothing to fight for, so it kind of is. They're really just out of the picture right now. So Montez Ford, you want to be on the main event scene? You want to learn from Bobby Lashley, learn from MVP? Join the Hurt Business.
Okay. Because I always say you never want a Marty Jannetty guy, man. You never want to do it because Marty Jannetty was still a really good wrestler, but once we made Sean a solo star, man, we kind of just forgot about Marty, man. So I think definitely we should break them up, but I kind of like that idea, but I hope that Montez doesn't get overshadowed. You know what I'm saying? I like for him kind of pull the Rock kind of role or even a Batista kind of role where he's going to usurp somebody.
That would be the goal, is to me that he'll be the star that will take over eventually. Bobby is going to be the star right now because he's the biggest name. But the hope is to make Montez Ford get over, that he can be, a next big star because he has everything that it takes. So you just gotta and plus I haven't seen him be heel yet. I think if you turn him heel, you kind of open up what he can do, what he's capable of, that we haven't even seen yet. So, and I think he's the type that could be heel, but still make you be really entertained. That it'll be hard to hate him. So, the only thing is, you'll have to turn Bobby heel again. So that'll be the only tough part. To me, yeah. Unless you want the Hurt Business be baby faces, so I don't know.
I don't think it works if you have a tag team called the Hurt Business, but they're all baby faces. Nah. That's like saying the APA got to be baby faces. Nah, dog, they got to be heels. They can be tweeners, but they got to be heels. I think turning Bobby back heel will make sense because if you've watched Raw or as the coming weeks of the pay-per-views, Bobby's getting more and more frustrated as time went on. So I say, yeah, turn him heel. Do it.
And then have the Hurt Business back. And then to me, Hurt Business will be one of the top factions. Honestly, obviously you got the Bloodline, but to me, those stars together, that the size with almost a part of the group, it's like the Hurt Business will easily be in there. To me, that'd be like a top faction that is believable, that you can't really beat. To me, like if
I
they work
still
together,
say we should make Braun Strowman and almost on a tag team. I'm just saying, make it happen.
that would be dope. I think that would be dope. But I like almost being part of the Hurt Business a lot more, though. I'm not gonna lie. I think
I'm just saying though, you wouldn't be hyped though. You see like Braun Strowman tag out, and you see almost one leg over the top rope, another leg. Like, all right, now you got to deal with me. It's like Mortal Kombat. You got done dealing with Shang Tsung. Now you got to deal with goddamn Shao Kahn. You like, man, all right, these dudes are too damn big, man. It's time to go home, bro. Let's pack it up, dog.
I'm not gonna lie, it'll be Raw. I think they should have. I think they should have been did it. Now at this point, it's like almost is already gonna be part of the Hurt Business. So it's like it didn't ran its course. They should have did it though. They should have did it when they had them face each other, and then they should have teamed up from that point. But they didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do two more topics before we end off this podcast. Quick question on you. This one is gonna be a quick question. Should the Bloodline add a female member?
I think they messed up completely though when they messed out on Naomi, because I feel like that should have happened regardless of what happened. And I think that would have been a better move if you would have made Naomi and Sasha a part of the Bloodline, but it'd have been by proxy Sasha, but not by blood.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have had they kicked Sasha out the group and put Tamina in there instead. because if I'm not
Mm,
mistaken, Tamina is actually The Rock's cousin.
yeah, I think so.
So I think that would have worked out in my opinion a lot more favorable, and it would have been Tamina and Naomi, and I think that would have been a really strong faction to deal with.
What a
But it's like a heel Naomi. What would that even look like, dog? What would that?
I feel like she can do it. Um, but I mean, at this point, the bloodline is not even really heel anymore to me. Like, they're just the bloodline. Like, whether you like them or dislike them, they just dominate and they do what they want. So I don't even know if you really consider them heel anymore, which is good for Naomi because Naomi would just be part of a dominant group. But I like Tamina more. I like if Tamina was a part of the group because she's actually a part of the bloodline. And then not only that, what if you brought back Nia Jax to add into the bloodline?
Well, Nia Jax ain't coming back to WWE. That's just not gonna happen.
Hmm.
So you're gonna have to go do a little bit of soul searching on that one. I say, hey, you could just pull that card and just say, hey, Rock's daughter, yeah, you. It's time to assume the position. Get in there and be the one we need you to be.
Ooh, I forgot about her. That is actually a
Mm-hmm.
good idea.
I understand. Yeah, she's I forgot her name in NXT. My apologies, but I understand she wants to do her own thing. She wants to be separate from her father. Perfectly fine. But I'm just saying, storyline purposes. Hey, man, you just let Tamina wrestle most of the matches and do her thing, and just have the Rock's daughter just being a heel, just hitting people with chairs and belts on the side. Like, oh man, that's crazy how that happened. Anyways, let me get this easy pin. There's many ways you can make these matches happen, dog. Anyways,
I think it's good to add a female to the bloodline though because it easily makes because right now the female roster is dominated by freaking Charlotte Flair,
Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, and Bailey, and Ronda
Don't forget about
Rousey.
Ronda Rousey.
And Ronda Rousey. That is actually a solid amount of people, but I feel like there should be one more person that can kind of like open it up. And if you and Rhea Ripley, actually, there's some great women wrestlers because you got to think about freaking Rhea Ripley still. You got Alexa Bliss,
Mandy Rose, if we decide to rehire her again. I
Mandy.
think there's a lot of guys, excuse me, a lot of women out there who are very viable right now. And I think this is a great thing because, remember back in the day when we had like two or three good female wrestlers?
Yeah,
I remember back in my day, hey, all we really had was Gail Kim, Trish Stratus, Lita, and Eve Torres, and that was it. Then a little later we got Beth Phoenix, and that was it, dog. We were struggling
shoot,
until we got AJ Lee. We were struggling until NXT gave us Paige. It was a terrible time.
they may not need to add a female to the bloodline because if they do, you know that she got to be dominant. So at this point, it is actually a lot of great women wrestlers right now when you actually think about it. They doing their thing. I'm like, shoot. Matter of fact, we're gonna end off the last with the last topic being the top five, our top five main roster women wrestlers.
That's a rough one. That is a rough one. All right, I'm with it. I'm with it. So how are we gonna do it? You want me to go first, or are you gonna go first?
I'll go first. I'll start it off.
All right.
Number one, I'm gonna go 1 to 5. So I'm gonna go number one right now. I gotta do it. Charlotte Flair. I'm sorry. Charlotte Flair is just even though I'm kind of tired of her being champion, she's that woman. So she's the queen. Bianca Belair, number 2. Number 3, I'm going Becky Lynch. Number 4, I'm going Bailey. And number 5, I'm going Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, who's on the come up. But that's my top 5. I'm going freaking Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair. Oh, did I miss Ronda? I did miss Ronda.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's tough. Okay, so Becky Lynch. Okay, I'm gonna go Becky Lynch. I'm gonna go Ronda. Then I'm gonna go Bailey. And Rhea Ripley is just on the outskirts, barely, barely.
Gotcha. All right. For me, I'm going off of who I like. I'm going off of who I feel is the most viable to me because this is how I feel like wrestling's future should go. And personally, I feel like when it comes to women's wrestling, I'm gonna have to put number 5 Io Sky. Where and I really liked her. I liked her when she was in Japan. I liked her when she came to WWE. I liked her in NXT. I still like her when she's in Damage Control. And so far, I've always enjoyed her matches. So yeah, she's number 5. Number 4, Rhea Ripley. Because honestly, in a good amount of time, hey man, she's probably looking like the women's version of probably. Oh, hey man, she might be the women's Brock Lesnar because it might happen, dog. It might happen, you know. And then on top of that, hey, she was the best part about this, what's it called? She was the best part about that what's it called, that kid, that double cage match. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And she impressed me. She's the one I like the most out of that match. And then we move on to number 3. Number 3 is Becky Lynch. I can never, ever, ever, ever not ever say she's not putting on a good match or not trying to put on a good show. And I always enjoy her in the ring. And number 2, I'm gonna have to give it to, unfortunately, Charlotte Flair. Because I can never deny her wrestling skills. That is the number one thing that always puts her on the map. Because hey, man, you ever want to learn how to wrestle? Or you want to see some good wrestling, women's wrestling? You go watch a Charlotte Flair match. Number 1, Bianca Belair. Because honestly, Bianca Belair reminds me of John Cena. A much more motivated John Cena. Excuse me, not motivated. Excuse me. A lot more talented John Cena. That's the way I like to look at her. Now, I like her title run. I like her matches. I really enjoyed Crown Jewel. I really enjoyed her matches with Becky Lynch, especially at SummerSlam and at WrestleMania. And I feel like they've done a very good job with her character. I'd like to see her turn heel and cut off her ponytail, but beggars can't be choosers. And I also feel like, that there's a lot more we can do with this character because right now the canvas has not been quite painted all the way yet, man. We can Bob Ross this and turn it 180 and you'll never know what you expect. So yeah, that's my top 5 female wrestlers.
Got you. Hey man, this is episode 16 of the People's Podcast, on the road to the Royal Rumble. This is the People's Podcast presented by the Wrestling Republic. Got any words for the people before we go?
I'll be honest with you, man. This one's gonna be a little bit heartfelt, but right now I'm reminiscing over something. But I say, hey man, you got someone you care about, or somebody that you want to go see. Hey man, don't waste time. Go see that person, man. Life is a very beautiful story that needs to be told, man. You gotta make sure you add your own chapters to it, man. You can't just let it just autopilot and write itself, man. You got to go out there and add to it. And, go see your family, go see your loved ones, go see your best friends, and go create those memories you need for the next day, man, or for the rest of your life. And that's all I got to say about that.
Create your own story, add chapters, create your book. This is the People's Podcast presented by the Wrestling Republic. Follow Wrestling Republic on all social media platforms. This is Meech. This is John. We here for episode 16. We see you guys in episode 17. We out.